friends, and welcome to the CUInsight Network. My name is Robbie Young. I'm the Vice President of Strategic Growth here at CUInsight, and it's my job on this show to have conversations with thought leaders who support the credit union community. On this episode, we'll identify issues affecting credit unions and discuss best practices to help us learn from one another and strengthen the future of credit unions. My guests on today's show are Scienaptic AI's Chief Growth Officer, Patrick McElhenie, and Chief Operating Officer, Vinay Bhaskar. Patrick, Vinay, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us, Robbie.
So to jump right in, for those who may not be familiar, can you share a little bit of Scienaptic AI and what you do for credit unions? Not only that, but how you're helping them achieve their goals, and why is this work especially meaningful in today's environment? If it works for you, Patrick, I would love to hear from you first, and then Vinay, maybe you can expand on that.
Absolutely, Robbie. Well, Scienaptic AI is a leading AI-powered credit decisioning platform, and we are built specifically for financial institutions. At the end of the day, what we really strive to do is we help credit unions drive fair and inclusive lending. And that's really important. That's really part of our mission, is driving fair and inclusive lending by approving more loans, but also reducing the risk that might come with that. And more importantly, improving the member experience. And best of all, we do it all without adding any of that operational burden that some credit unions might feel a solution like this would add. I mean, our platform is more than just this credit decision platform. It really supports that kind of full member life cycle of the lending experience, from acquisition to underwriting to line management, portfolio management, and even collections and engagement. So I think from a strategic perspective, we absolutely enable loan growth, but we also provide stronger risk-adjusted returns for the credit union. We also can really help those credit unions create greater operational efficiency. And most importantly, when you add all of this up, it comes back to really this enhanced member experience. And that enhanced member experience, as you know, and as everybody knows, really can help drive those stronger relationships that are just so important. Because, I mean, why it matters now, take a look around. Members' lives, consumers' lives, I mean, they're just much more complex. It's more diverse than ever. And we know that not every member or not every consumer fits into the same kind of credit profile or the same risk box. And so what we're able to do is really kind of provide the ability to look at the entire person. Let's look at that person from a 360-degree view, from behaviors, spending patterns, et cetera, to really make this informed credit decision. But this credit decision also is fast, extremely fast, fair, because let's face it, we know that member experiences around what they do digitally keep rising, and speed is important, personalization is important, and we do all of this while at the same time staying compliant. So the fact that credit unions are really kind of facing this rate volatility, they're rising competition, I mean, that's always out there. Margin pressure continues to exist. So being able to decision smarter, more dynamic, and be responsive in real time really is helping credit unions compete. And really, I want to make sure we understand this isn't AI for just AI's sake. I mean, this is AI that's really helping credit unions really deliver fair, consistent, inclusive, and very member-first lending outcomes.
Vinay, did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, Patrick covered whole 9 years about it, but just to provide some additional flavors, what is unique about Scienaptic is that we are end-to-end decision provider and integrated into lending workflows. And as Patrick said, these are decisions that are not like one and done at the underwriting stage, but it enables the decisions, consistent decisions throughout the member journey with the credit unions. So with that said, what becomes more important or imperative is both the members and credit unions lending context as we take these decisions. And that's where AI comes into picture in a big way, assisting that roadmap. If we have the context under which a member is applying for a loan or going through certain stages throughout its engagement with the credit union and the credit union lending objectives itself, it's very easy for AI to then come to a consensus on what's the next path forward. And that's what our platform brings to both the member and the credit union. The other aspect of our solution that I'll highlight is that we support credit unions grow, quote unquote, safely. We all know that every credit union wants growth, but not at the cost of risk or compliance. So our embedded risk management and fair lending frameworks will provide that comprehensive view to the credit unions and for any regulatory compliance purposes. And I'll touch upon one last aspect of it, which is very critical. We all know that environment changes, not just on a weekly, quarterly basis, but on a daily basis as well. So credit unions, financial institutions need a platform that can adapt in real time and not once a quarter or a year. So our decisioning engine constantly evaluates the changing macro scenario, the lending landscape, the credit union's risk appetite, the members' need, and then adjust their decisions accordingly. So in short, the consistency, the safety, and the adaptiveness is what we bring to the table.
Thank you for that information. So, Patrick, Scienaptic is about to launch its first of its kind Agentic AI product for lending. In simple terms, what is Agentic AI and why is it a meaningful leap beyond AI decisioning for credit unions?
Robbie, it's interesting as I was thinking about this interview or this podcast and Agentic AI. I've been in the industry for 25 years. You go back 10 years and 10 years ago, you went to a conference, everything was about big data. What do you do with data? Big data. And now it's been AI. And that next now iteration is going to be Agentic AI. So it's just fascinating to see how this continues to grow and innovation continues to take place in our industry. But let's talk about Agentic AI and really let's look at a credit decision as an example. And let's compare what I would call traditional AI to Agentic AI, where in a credit decision example, traditional AI is going to help answer, should we approve this loan? Well, what Agentic AI then does is, what should we do next and how do we execute it? So instead of just producing a score or a recommendation, Agentic just takes it one step further and is really going to help credit unions move from insight to action, but while all the time keeping humans firmly in the loop. And I want to make sure that's absolutely clear. Agentic AI just doesn't produce an output, but it can take action, it can coordinate workflows, and it can move the process forward, all while keeping people in the loop and updated. I mean, the word agentic is agent, right? So think of AI as evolving from an analyst to more of a decision to action engine, kind of within the credit union defined rules and all of their augmenting staff capabilities. It's this next leap, right? Because it really connects the intelligence of the AI decision to execution across this entire ecosystem of technology and systems within the credit union, whether that's the loan origination system, the core, the fraud solution, the member engagement platform, servicing. These agents are in the background doing this manual work that was once done by a human. But again, all in a very transparent way that's keeping people up to speed. I mean, this is really about operational efficiency. I mean, AI, again, it's going to reduce that repetitive manual work, really letting credit union staff focus on what they should be focused on, is those high valued activities, working with the members that truly need that extra touch or maybe that extra experience. And it's going to lead to an overall better member experience, stronger relationships. So that's what's really exciting about AI. It's going to be less friction, but with more transparency. And we're just really excited about that.
So to dig into that a little deeper, Vinay, where will credit unions feel the impact first? And what are the top 2 to 3 lending workflows Agentic AI can transform across underwriting, line management, early warning, member engagement? And what measurable outcomes should leaders expect in those first 60 to 90 days?
Absolutely, Robbie. The agentic AI has a lot of promises. We are all hearing about it on a daily basis. There's actually is a report, I believe, by McKinsey, where it says that the agentic AI systems are projected to unlock roughly about 2.5 trillion to 4.5 trillion annually in value. And these are spread across 60 AI use cases, touching upon customer service, compliance, so on and so forth. Now, from our perspective as Scienaptics developing these AI systems for credit unions, I personally believe that our lowest hanging fruit that you would see in next 60 to 90 days of adoption is the accuracy and the speed of interactions with the members. Now, whether that interaction is proactive or reactive in nature, the first order impacts are going to be huge. So there are a few that we are focusing on. The first, Patrick touched upon it, underwriting and exceptions related applications are going to move fast, wherein agentic AI will help credit unions, quote unquote, interpret the context, not just the risk signals. So fewer applications will get stalled or get declined simply due to either the volatility or the missing data or the edge cases. So our assessment is that agentic AI should be able to assist finding a path to approval for members and then execute on it autonomously with all the rail guards around it. So that's the first use case, that's quote unquote the low hanging fruit. The second that comes to my mind is the portfolio intelligence that will quickly turn into timely action. So instead of credit unions waiting for quarterly reviews or batch campaigns, agentic AI and the deployment can identify and act on meaningful changes in member situations as they happen, right? And that's the timely action to member situation would be a huge gain due to these solutions. We also envision that human effort is going to shift up the value chain. So underwriters and risk teams will spend lesser time chasing the data and they'll spend more time on member conversations, solving the complex decisions and the judgments that come therein. So a lot of momentum in the first 60 to 90 days on the operational side, which leads to faster decision cycles, fewer false declines, and more targeted member engagement.
So as agentic AI becomes more capable, trust and governance obviously becomes way more critical. How are you ensuring your approach remains explainable, fair, and compliant for credit unions? Vinay, I would love to start with you, and Patrick, if you could expand a little bit more from there.
Yeah, that's a brilliant point, Robbie, and thanks for kind of bringing it up. Trust, compliance, safety are the paramount as we deploy these solutions. Now, I mean, we all know when we started machine learning, everybody had questions on how machine learning worked, which got addressed in the transparency around it. Then came a wave of a broader Gen AI, and now the use cases around agentic AI. So it's becoming more and more critical that there are appropriate frameworks and safeguards in place to ensure that these solutions are deployed risk-free. So from Scienaptic perspective, we know that trust is non-negotiable. We know that governance needs to be built into how we deploy AI/agentic AI. So just to illustrate how we kind of manage it internally, we ensure that our decisioning platform is quote unquote explainable. So it's not just tells what the decision is, but it also tells why the decision was made. And this dimension is going to become even more important with the agents coming into play, because now you have one agent talking to another agent in a autonomous or semi-autonomous ways. So we have that explainability that monitors how the agents interact with each other and because of why the ultimate decision is made. So that's point one on the explainability. The other dimension is on the policies, risk appetite, and the risk framework. So we operate within credit union NCUA/state defined policies governing the AI and the agentic AI. So that kind of puts a broader umbrella under which we operate so that AI doesn't go quote unquote freestyle, right? Overall. The third, of course, is on the auditability. Our solutions ensure that we have complete transparency into the decision trails, the logs, the agent's hands-offs, as well as all data that went into making a final decision. Last but not the least, the fair lending, of course, is very important. So we monitor and control the fair lending aspects and get the human in the loop, especially for the edge cases and exceptions where we know we need to have those guardrails in. So a lot of focus on the compliance and the monitoring frameworks in a nutshell.
Yeah, and what I would just add to that, which my colleague explained very well, is we're being very intentional about building governed autonomy. And what I mean by that is, credit unions can define what that agent is allowed to do, what requires review, and what requires approval. And throughout all of this, whether it's Agentic AI or any of our solutions, we look at transparency as critical. Leaders need to be able to explain these decisions to regulators and members in a very confidential way. Really, our focus continues to be it's better outcomes with stronger control. We don't, and we never would do automation for its own sake. The goal is really to strengthen member relationships through this consistent, fair decisions. And, we're never going to try and, replace that human element.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So as we look to the future, what is Scienaptic AI's focus on the road ahead?
Boy, there's a lot of paths we can take, that's for sure, Robbie. But I think our focus really is continue to expand kind of from this decisioning into the decision to execution across that entire lending life cycle. And, really trying to help make more decisions, make things more continuous, more adaptive, and not just kind of this single point in time capability. Because the capabilities that we're building that they're just going to help credit unions respond faster to change. Because let's face it, things change quick. There's macro changes going on. There's macro shifts happening. There's portfolio signals that need to be monitored. Member behavior and buying behavior continues to change. And we're going to help with all of that, not just with the existing capabilities that a credit union has, but actually we'll start to introduce new capabilities for the credit unions to really, truly serve their members and expand access to credit for all of their members that are out there and even consumers. So we're going to keep investing in this human-centered AI, the tools that are going to make teams more effective, credit unions more effective, making sure they're serving their members better. And we just want to help credit unions truly compete, not just on rate, but on that genuine, personalized experience and the speed at which they can deliver this personalization, because as we know, that's the name of the game.
Thank you again, Patrick and Vinay, for being on the show. Stay well, and thank you to all of our listeners for tuning in. Before we go, for this episode and more on all things credit unions, please head over to CUInsight.com and subscribe to stay up to date. We'll see you again next time.